I grew up in a family that used homeopathy and herbs and biochemic tissue salts, and you know, this was the 50s in England, and we had brown bread. I was the only child in the whole school who had brown bread in her lunchbox. And, you know, we ate organic vegetables. I mean, honestly, I don't think anyone had hardly heard of them back then. But my grandpa had a little, you know, allotment, and I helped him. I grew things with him and then ate them. And that whole more natural, chemical-free gestalt was very interesting to me. And when Rachel Carson published Silent Spring, that was very interesting to me. And it was a warning to us all. And somehow we didn't heed it. And look, now, 40, 50 years on, we are reaping the rewards of all the chemicals on the land, and it's a mess out there. So I was an early adopter, if you like, of alternative medicine. When I left home at 16, I went to Ainsworth's homeopathic pharmacy, the pharmacy that supplies the royal family with their remedies, and I bought a 36 remedy kit and all 12 of the biochemic tissue salts, and that was my medicine, and that's all I used for all my acute complaints. I mean, I wasn't chronically ill. You know, I would get period pains or cystitis or food poisoning or the flu, like you do. You know, just things that you can go to bed. Your doctor, if you go to a doctor for things like that, they'll tell you, you know, rest and whatever, you know, for a few days, and it's self-limiting. So for the self-limiting complaints, I treated myself. I was always over everything, lickety-split. It's brilliant. And I got into trouble at the age of 28, 29, 30, when my son was a year and a half old, and he got whooping cough. And he ended up it was a very bad bout. And he couldn't get over it. He couldn't stop coughing. He'd cough for months. I mean, that is typical of a bad whooping cough. The kids can cough all winter. That's what he did. We went to one homeopath after another. 4 homeopaths failed to help him. 2 medical doctors, one lay homeopath and one anthroposophical homeopath. These are all branches of homeopathy or doctors who specialize in it. But they all did I didn't know this at the time. They all did routine prescribing, you know, and none of the remedies worked. I gave up on homeopathy. It's a miracle that I'm here, frankly, because someone referred me, a healer that I went to. I got desperate, went to a healer, and she said, your child needs homeopathy. And I thought that was hilarious, because I thought, it's just good for acute complaints, self-limiting complaints. It's a minor system of healing that isn't very good. That was my felt sense of it. And she said, no, classical homeopathy. The classical homeopaths are working in a different way. They're working deeper. They're working with inherited weaknesses. They're working with a much wider range of remedies, hundreds of them. She gave me the name of a practitioner. Within 24 hours of his first prescription, Daniel stopped vomiting. Within a week, he stopped coughing. And his general health was better. I said to myself, what on earth is this? What happened here? How come this person did this fantastic job where these other people failed? And I enrolled, actually, I was in homeopathy school within 2 months. The rest is history. I wrote my book, the Complete Homeopathy Handbook, in response to all the first aid books that were still are currently available, that try to make homeopathy accessible to the home prescriber, but actually, in part, they fail. They just give 3 to 6 remedies for a complaint. I wanted to create a resource for home prescribers that matched what I, as a professional classical homeopath, do in the consulting room. So it's the same process. You can't look up a complaint. You have to work up the whole picture. You have to gather symptoms, and then you have to differentiate between 2 or 3 similar remedies. And yeah, works like a charm.